of general characteristics and specific characteristics are called prajna of the Buddhas. The prajnaparamita, which cognizes deeply the three kinds of prajna of the Sravakas, of the Pratyeka Buddhas and of the Buddhas, is properly called prajna that goes to the end of all the wisdoms. 4. Prajna of the heretics. Question. As you say, prajnaparamita must penetrate deeply all the wisdoms, mundane as well as supramundane. Among all the wisdoms that it fully exhausts, why do you mention only the wisdoms of the three vehicles and say nothing of other wisdoms? Answer. In the three vehicles, it is a matter of true wisdoms. Elsewhere, it is false wisdom. Even though the bodhisattva has cognizance of the latter, he does not particularly cultivate them. Just as sandalwood is found only on Mount Emoli, so every good expression that is found elsewhere than in the three vehicles all come from the buddhadharma, but they are not the buddhadharma. When first heard, they seem excellent, but long afterwards they are revealed as harmful. It is like the milk of the cow and that of the ass. They both have the same color, but the cow's milk when churned gives butter, whereas the ass's milk when churned gives urine. It is the same for the words of the Buddha and the words of the heretics. Insofar as they teach non-killing, non-stealing, having loving kindness and compassion for beings, concentrating the mind, renouncing desires, and contemplating emptiness, they are similar. But the heretics' words, seemingly excellent at the beginning, reveal themselves at the end to be completely false. Falsity of heretical morality. All the heretical systems are attached to the view of self. If the Atman really existed, one would come up with the following alternatives. It should be either destructible or indestructible. If it were destructible, it would be like ox hide. If it were indestructible, it would be like space. In both cases, there would be no fault in killing it and no merit in sparing it. A. If it were indestructible like space, rain and dew would not wet it, wind and heat would not dry it out. It would be eternal. If it were eternal, suffering would not torment it and happiness would not delight it. The Atman being insensitive to suffering and happiness, one would neither avoid suffering nor procure happiness. B. If it were destructible like ox hide, it would be destroyed by wind and rain. Destructible, it would be transitory. Transitory, it would escape from sin and merit. The teaching of the heretics being like that, what merit would there be in non-killing? What fault would be committed by killing living beings? Falsity of the heretics' concentrations. So be it. The moral prescriptions of the heretics show the defects that you say. But what about their dhyanas and their wisdom? Answer. The heretics who pursue dhyana with the notion of self and who are full of desire, wrong views, and pride, do not reject all the dharmas. Consequently, they do not have true wisdom. Question. You said that heretics contemplate emptiness. In contemplating emptiness, they do reject all dharmas. Why do you say then that they do not reject all dharmas and consequently do not have true wisdom? Answer. In contemplating emptiness, heretics grasp at the characteristic of emptiness. They do not accept the emptiness of self, for they are attached to the wisdom contemplating emptiness. Question. The heretics possess the absorption of non-discrimination where mind and mental events are destroyed. By reason of this destruction, they can no longer commit the fault of grasping at characteristics or being attached to wisdom. Answer. The absorption of non-discrimination has enough power to destroy the mind, but it does not have the power of true wisdom. Moreover, the heretics identify this absorption of non-discrimination with nirvana and do not know that it is a composite state. This is why they fall into error. In this absorption, even though the mind is temporarily destroyed, it reappears when it encounters causes and conditions. Thus, when a person is in deep dreamless sleep, his mind and his awareness are not functioning, but they reappear after sleep. Question. We accept that the absorption of non-discrimination as the heretics conceive it presents the defects that you say. Nevertheless, They still possess the absorption of neither discrimination nor non-discrimination, in which there is no longer any false notion allowing, as did the preceding absorption, the confusion between non-discrimination and nirvana, for, in this case every concept has disappeared by the power of wisdom. Answer: no. In this absorption there is still concept. But, as it is subtle, it is not considered. If there is no more concept, why do the Buddha's disciples still seek the true wisdom instead of this absorption? In the Buddha system, the consciousness that subsists during the absorption of neither discrimination nor non-discrimination rests on the four aggregates inherent in every arupyasamapati. These four skandhas, which depend on causes and conditions, are transitory. Being transitory, they are painful. Being transitory and painful, they are empty. Being empty, they are without self. Being empty and selfless, they should be rejected. By becoming attached to this wisdom, you will not obtain nirvana. The caterpillar puts out its front foot before pulling back its hind foot. When it comes to the edge of the leaf on which it is creeping and there is no further place it can go onto, it moves back. In the same way, these heretics, depending on the first dhyana, reject the desires of the lower level and so on. Finally, depending on the naivasam jnanasamapati, they reject the akimkenya. But, as there is nothing above the naivasam jnanasamapati, no level on which they can depend, they are unable to leave the naivasam jnanasamapati, for, having no further support, they are afraid of being lost or falling into nothingness. Furthermore, there are sutras of the heretics that allow killing, theft, sexual misconduct, lying and the use of wine. They say: 1. In sacrifices to the gods, killing is not wrong because it is the practice of religion. If one is in difficulties, it is not wrong to kill an ordinary person to save one's life, for in difficulties, it is to follow the right path. 2. Except for gold, it is permitted to steal in order to save one's life. Later, the heretics will suppress this residue of fault. 3. Except for the consort of one's teacher, the wife of the king, the wife or daughter of a spiritual friend, it is permitted to violate other women and to have sex with them. 4. It is permitted to lie in the interest of one's teacher, one's parents, one's own life, one's cattle, or in the role of a middleman. 5. When it is cold, it is permitted to drink liquor made from crystallized honey, and, in the sacrifices to the gods, it is permitted to take 1 or 2 drops of wine. In the Buddhist Dharma, this is not permitted. 1. Out of loving kindness and equanimity towards all beings, it is forbidden to take the life of even an ant, the more so a man. 2. It is forbidden to take a needle and thread, even more so, a valuable object. 3. It is forbidden to touch a courtesan, the more so another man's wife. 4. It is forbidden to lie as a jest, the more so to make a lie. 5. It is forbidden to drink any wine at any time, the more so when it is cold and during sacrifices to the gods. The distance between the heretics and the Buddhist Dharma is like the distance between heaven and earth. The law of the heretics is a generating source for passions, the